Ubisoft just recently announced their new game called Assassin's Creed Mirage and released a huge amount of new details about it, which I'm going to break down for you now in this top 10 things to know format. So hopefully after this video, you'll know exactly what's going on with this next AC installment and if it's worth your time and money. Let's first start with the release date though, because Ubisoft have been purposefully ambiguous with it, meaning that they haven't actually given us one apart from the date of 2023. However, as I briefly recapped in previous videos, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't know approximately when it is going to release. Frederick Duguay, Chief Financial Officer of Ubisoft, told shareholders in a Q2 financial call earlier on this year their small, unannounced premium title had been delayed until spring, that being, of course, AC Mirage. Now, the season of spring falls between the dates of the 20th of March and the 21st of June, with the official AC Mirage prologue storybook being scheduled for release by April the 29th on Amazon, which I have popped a link in the pinned comments so you can check out for yourself, by the way. But with all that said, I would expect this game to release before April 29th, which makes sense because they're already accepting pre-orders for their 3 different game editions, and let's break those down now. So we have 3 editions that Ubisoft are offering us, that being the Standard, Deluxe and the Collector's Edition. And first and foremost, if you pre-order any of these game editions, you will receive a bonus quest for doing so called the 40 Thieves quest. And as far as the game editions go, the Standard is just the base game, which retails at €49, $49 and 45 Great British pounds. The Deluxe Edition will include the entire game, the 40 Thieves quest, as well as the Prince of Persia inspired cosmetic outfit, eagle, mount skins, weapons, digital art book and a digital soundtrack. Now, the Collector's Edition, you'll pick up everything that we've just discussed, but also a figurine of Basim, which is 32 centimeters in height, a replica of Basim's brooch in game, exclusive steelbook case, and a mini art book detailing the game, as well as a Baghdad map. Now, that's quite a lot of stuff to be fair, but it will set you back €150 in dollars and 130 GBP. The game will be available on PS4 and PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as the PC, and of course on the Epic Game Store and Luna. Incidentally, a couple good things to note here: if you do purchase the digital PS4 version of the game, you will automatically get a PS5 upgrade when transitioning to a next-gen console. The same is applicable to the Xbox Series X and S as far as I'm aware. Now, as for refunds, if you do decide to pre-order, you can always get a refund if you decide to cancel before release day. So unless you're after the Collector's Edition specifically, do take your time to mull it over and see if it's worth your time and money, I would say. Now, as far as the storyline and setting goes, what's actually going on in this game? Well, after we jack ourselves into the Animus, we'll be heading to 9th century Baghdad, specifically 20 years before AC Valhalla, which at the time was the center of the world and the peak of what was called the Islamic Golden Age. The city and region was leading the way in scientific discoveries as well as technological innovation and culture under the Ayyubid Caliphate. Baghdad itself was a hub and melting pot of different cultures, religions, scientists, artists, and people from all across the globe, which is why Ubisoft have chosen this region in history for their next game. In fact, Sarah Bellew, the narrative director for Mirage, working out of Ubisoft Bordeaux, stated that we wanted to go back to the Middle East where it all started for Assassin's Creed and make a game which was in the same global region as AC1 so old and new fans alike could discover its secrets. Which I've got to be honest with you, sounds very promising, I must say, especially as Ubisoft's art director, Jean-Luc Sala, stated that Baghdad will be an incredibly dense city where we'll be meeting culturally famous and political figures in this time period as we begin our journey as Basim, a cunning street thief that is seeking answers and justice against the order of the ancients as he navigates the bustling streets of Baghdad. We'll actually have to work our way through the assassin brotherhood from thief to apprentice and finally all the way up to master assassin, with our robes visually changing when we go through each rank under the guise and mentorship of Roshan. And let's talk about her now. She's a new character in this game who is responsible for finding Basim as a lowly street thief and transforming him into a master assassin within the Hidden Ones organization. Now, according to Sarah Bellew, Roshan is a mentor in the Assassin's Brotherhood who was originally a slave with a very tragic background that we go on to discover. She goes on to state further that she is a 50-year-old mature woman of Persian origins that is fixated on bringing justice to those who deserve it, as well as protecting the Hidden Ones at all costs. Roshan's voice actress is read by Sheree Adashlu, and my sincere apologies for the pronunciation, by the way. I do try my best, but this is her voice that you hear during the cinematic trailer, by the way.
Basim ibn Ishaq.
and I'm not yet convinced that she's a protagonist. I think there's a deeper story to be told here due to her obsession of doing anything to protect the Hidden Ones at all costs, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have some sort of conflict with her as Basim and Loki's consciousness fuse together and decide to follow a different path to that of the Assassin's Brotherhood. And by the way, if you have found this video informative so far, please do leave a very swift like down below, and as a thank you for doing so, I'm running an AC Mirage game giveaway at the moment. You just need to be a subscriber of the channel to enter, and the link is in the pinned comments. So cheers for your support and good luck. Alright then, so enemies, who are we up against in this game? Well, as mentioned by Sarah Bellew, the main antagonists in Rift are the Order of the Ancients, whom, if you weren't aware, are the organisation that eventually turn into the Templar Order. And as this game takes place 20 years before Valhalla, it'll be interesting to see how their influence and connections extend across the continent to England. Now, another enemy I think we'll be up against, which has been kind of hinted at the end of the cinematic trailer, is Loki himself. Now, if you haven't played Valhalla, Loki is a reincarnated Isu that eventually goes on to take control, or what we believe is control, of Basim's consciousness and body. And I think this mystical being that we actually see here in the cinematic trailer is Basim's interpretation of Loki, or that of another consciousness in his head, just as we've seen with Odin and Eivor in Valhalla. And I think this is represented by a jinn or genie, which is Basim's way of processing or identifying who this voice that he can hear in his head is, as a jinn is an invisible creature, demon, or spirit in pre-Islamic Arabian religious systems, as well as Islamic mythology and theology. So I'd expect a few antagonists here: the Order of the Ancients, Loki's consciousness, and potentially Roshan, Basim's mentor. Now let's talk about Baghdad itself, because Jean-Luc Sala, the art director on Mirage, has said that the city is split into 4 regions or districts that each have their own thematic design and identity, but as a whole, Baghdad is very dense and tightly packed. For example, he goes on to say that one district of the city is focused directly on industrial action and construction, whereas another region is focused more on scholarship, with lush gardens covering that part of the city in particular. Now, they did keep the rest of the exploration info quite close to their chests, but a big daddy bit of info they did release, which I was pretty excited to see and hear, was that the Assassin's headquarters would feature in this AC Mirage game. The castle of Alamut is currently being constructed in-game in this time period, and we'll be able to witness that as well, but also explore it in detail. This castle has never before been featured in a AAA Assassin's Creed game, as confirmed by Ubisoft themselves, so it's a pretty big deal, as it did end up serving as the capital for the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood for generations to come, so you can bet there's going to be a lot of secrets and Easter eggs to find inside it. Now let's talk about some new weapons and tools that have been confirmed to be in the game, because I think they sound like great fun and they really do give me a nostalgia here as an old school AC fan. First and foremost, throwing knives are returning, which have been used throughout the previous AC games as a stealth based range option to quietly dispatch enemies whilst remaining undetected. It's good to see them back here. We'll also have access to poison mines that trigger and incapacitate enemies when they get close enough for it to be activated, and we can see that in effect here in the cinematic trailer, as well as being able to use stealth darts as another range option to kill and cause distractions whilst remaining hidden away in the crowd within Baghdad. Of course, that hidden blade returns, and referencing the cinematic trailer once more, we can actually see Basim being initiated into the Brotherhood and cutting off his finger to actually use it. I personally cannot wait to experience this scene in-game and questline as a whole. I'm very much looking forward to it, but as for weapons in our main hand and offhand, it hasn't yet been confirmed if there will be multiple different options there, but based on what we've seen so far and what's been hinted at so far in the pre-order editions, I can actually foresee us having one weapon which we can customize and upgrade throughout the game, similar to Kratos in God of War with the Leviathan axe. Hold fast on that one though, that's just a bit of enthusiastic speculation from me there. Hopefully we get some confirmation quite soon on that. Now parkour, let's chat about that and what's actually new in this game, because it's one of the reasons why the franchise has become so successful. Jean-Luc Sala went on to say that Assassin's Creed Mirage has a bit of everything from all of the Assassin's Creed games, with a modern take on gameplay and features. He mentions that old school fans will be keen to play, as well as new ones, because the game itself has been built to focus on 3 core pillars, those being parkour, assassinations, and stealth. Parkour specifically has been increased in speed, so we as players feel more immersed in the game as we can quickly traverse throughout the city of Baghdad. There will be fan favourite parkour animations that will be returning, including the famous corner swing, and a brand new one called the pole vault, where Basim will be able to activate it to cross large gaps between buildings as we run away from our pursuers. In fact, speaking of running away from our enemies, we'll also be able to pull down scaffolding, which will give us valuable time to blend back into the city of Baghdad. Of course, we'll have to await gameplay showcases from Ubisoft to give it our full analysis and critical thinking, but at this stage, and managing my own expectations, I do think this sounds positive and good fun. Now, I'll tell you what else sounds good fun, and that's some further assassination improvements that will be implemented in this new game. Alongside the parkour enhancements to gameplay, Ubisoft have also confirmed that we will be picking up brand new assassination animations that are described as being visceral and very fast. Now, these animations have never before been seen in an AC game, which is encouraging to hear, and the biggest addition to assassinations, though, is this new ability called Assassin's Focus. This will allow us to slow down time and kill multiple enemies at once in succession, which we briefly caught a glimpse of in the cinematic trailer. The best way I could describe this is, from what we've been told at this stage, is something similar to the multiple assassination option in Ghost of Tsushima, which I actually never tired of personally during gameplay. So if this is done correctly, I can see this being pretty satisfying as a mechanic to utilize in game, especially if it's done tactically and strategically within a mission. And speaking of missions, Jean-Luc Sala, the art director, also went on to state further that we should consider every single mission in this game and quest as a black box mission, which, if you've not heard of before, was a mechanic that was introduced back in Assassin's Creed Unity. It allows us, the player, to be let loose in a specific designated area where we can complete certain optional tasks to build up to and finally assassinate the target. Now, Ubisoft recently implemented them into the Siege of Paris DLC in Valhalla last year, which actually went down really well with the community. So if you enjoy this aspect of Assassin's Creed games, you'll be very pleased to hear that the whole game is a black box mission after black box mission, which I personally am a real big fan of. But not only that, Ubisoft have said that this stealth loop mechanic has been an incredibly important focus in this game's construction, where you can identify your target, hunt them down, and then vanish into the crowd as a kind of reset is at the core of the game, so the art director tells us. For this to function well, though, stealth detection has been improved with increased granularity to improve the feedback for the player, which is a very fancy way of saying that we know Valhalla's stealth detection and mechanics were terrible, and it's not going to be like that, but I'm sure we'll be putting those claims to the test very soon. It's a big fingers crossed it works for me on that front. There's also this new mechanic being implemented with the Eagle. We will be able to utilize it and identify enemies in doing so, as we've seen before in the last few RPG games, but the caveat here being that enemy archers can now shoot down your Eagle, so there's an element of risk and reward being implemented here, which I think is a good thing. As for NPCs during stealth and out of it, they will react to every move we make, whether that's sprinting through a crowd or choosing to dive headfirst into a hiding spot. There will be an initial reaction delay, as you'd kind of expect in real life, but I will manage my own expectations there and wait to see what the gameplay is like, so bear that in mind. Now, I do want to thank Ubisoft here for inviting me to an early access preview last week, so I was able to make this video for you and get this breakdown out for you quickly. So if you haven't already done so, do subscribe if you want to get all of the Assassin's Creed info ahead of time as we run up to launch. I've also broken down lots of new AC announcements from the Ubisoft Forward event, which you should definitely check out directly on the channel. These videos will be coming thick and fast with lots of cool stuff to talk about, so hopefully I'll see you in one of those videos very soon, which actually should be on your screen right now in just a second. Cheers for watching, and as usual, coffee is on me.